Family, on tonight, we want to continue our discussion about a subject that all of us can appreciate. We're talking about peace. I don't want to stand in judgment or criticism of anyone's life. I can tell you that in talking with people, engaging with people in different activities and functions in life, one of the things that becomes very evident, a lot of people are not enjoying peace. It's not just some situational problem that's causing people to be robbed of peace. We discover that some just find it impossible to have peace, or not that it's impossible, but it seems impossible because they have so many frustrations and challenges, so many secrets, so many insecurities, so many personal challenges that just really upends their ability to have peace. On Monday, we talked about two important elements in enjoying the peace that we have the potential to enjoy. First and foremost, peace comes as a way, or as a means, I should say, of being able to enjoy our godly relationship. We get that peace when we have that vertical relationship with God. God is peace, and peace comes from Him. We talked about the idea of having not only the relationship vertically with God, but our horizontal relationship. That is our engagement and interactions with other people. And oh, how challenging that can be. It's one thing to try to have peace with the God of peace, but how do you have peace with people who are not always peaceful themselves? That requires a lot of grace, a lot of prayer, and a lot of patience. Tonight, I want to deal with some other elements of peace. I encourage you to take note of scriptures that will be provided. I want us to recognize, as I've said many times before, you do not have to wait until you die to experience peace. Your headstone saying, "Rest in peace," is a sad commentary for a person who did not live in peace, seeing as how God has made that possible for all of those who are willing to experience peace in life and not just peace in death. The first thing that I want to mention to you regarding the peace, it comes from the presence of God. I want to be particularly careful in how we talk about and understand the presence of God. I believe it is quite unfortunate when people do not understand the presence of God in their lives. You see, some are conditioned to experience God on Sunday, so they limit Him to a day of the week. Some think God resides in a building, and so they think that the holiness and presence of God exists in a building. I know this because I've heard over the years many people say things like, if I weren't on church property, if this wasn't Sunday, if we weren't in this building, what they would do or what they would say. Sometimes people say something as simple as, I won't smoke on church property, or I won't curse a person out because it's Sunday, or I won't do this or I won't do that because of the reverence they give the day of the week or the building, the gathering. And while those things may be appropriate in the proper context, the reality of the matter is that people who are obsessed with the day of the week or the place in terms of their honoring God are actually dishonoring God because they don't see that God's presence is about our awareness that He's everywhere at the same time. This means that if you feel that in reverence to God you would not smoke on church property, then why do you smoke anywhere if that is your thought toward reverencing God? Or you would cuss out this person if we weren't in the church building, but in respect to this place, I won't say that. That means you probably shouldn't be saying it even if you're in an alley somewhere. You see, one of the things about the peace of God is that God gives us this invitation that is not limited to a day of the week, and it is not limited to a place. In James 4 and verse number 8, he says, "Come near." In the King James Version, it says, "Draw nigh to God, and He'll draw nigh to you." If you get closer to God, He'll get closer to you. Draw nigh, come near. It is an invitation, not an invitation just for Sunday, not an invitation just in a building, but it's an invitation to have the awareness of God's presence in your life so that your holiness and reverence toward Him is because you're walking with Him, you're driving with Him, you're going to work, you're going to school. Every aspect of your life is about the awareness of God. See, some people lose their awareness of God as soon as the benediction or the last amen is said, and they cross that threshold and they go about their business. And some can't even make it out of the parking lot without some of the hellish stuff that they brought into the worship and set aside just for that time, and they pick it up and they can't even wait till they get home. They're in the parking lot gossiping, in the parking lot cussing, in the parking lot doing things. And we have to recognize that you can't get peace when you are not inviting God to be a part of your thought processes, your speaking, your talking. The awareness of God, the focus on Him, the invitation that He extends to us to get closer to us, so that if we are being intentional about being closer to Him, He's going to be intentional about being closer to us. It's about honoring God in every aspect of our lives, not just honoring Him because we go through the motions of worship, not just honoring Him because it's Sunday, not just honoring Him because we're in a building, but honoring Him with our thoughts, honoring Him with our decisions, honoring Him with how we see others, honoring Him with how we respond to our enemies, honoring Him with how we make choices about what we're going to do or what we're not going to do, honoring Him in the places we go, the things we listen to, honoring God in every aspect of our lives. You see, we can never really talk about and appreciate the presence of God when we limit God to a day or to a place. As we consider the presence of God, the Bible teaches us that God is the God of peace. So we have to bask in His presence. Let me ask you to think of it from another angle. You ever been around someone with, let's say, a cold or the flu or chicken pox or measles, something contagious? You are always aware that in their presence, you have the potential to be infected and affected because of something they have. So you keep your distance. You might spray Lysol. You might wear a mask. You might go through various things to protect yourself because you know in their presence, those germs, that bacteria, that virus has the potential to affect you and infect you. If we can understand that we can be impacted by what someone has because we're in their presence, what do you think would happen if we understand that we're in the presence of the God of peace? I would suggest that if you don't have as much peace as you like to have, did you leave your peace at the building? Are you waiting till Sunday to get it? How about having the presence of God in your life? How about taking God with you and getting infected and affected by the God of peace? This has been another installment of A Few Minutes with the Minister.